Donald Trump is about to destroy the Conservative Party and Kemi Badenoch's political career. This is a major realignment that's going to happen in the state visit in September, and I think something which means that Nigel Farage will take one step closer to becoming Prime Minister of this country. Now, I know that some of you like Farage. I know that some of you are sceptical. I know that some of you think he's an incrementalist. But overall, one of the things that's important here is that those big political parties that have so dominated the British political landscape for so long are now starting to be torn down. And in the case of the Conservatives, Donald Trump is the leader of the US Republicans, which has been the sister party of the Conservative Party for about 150 years. That is about to end. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but also donate to Patriot Fund. There's a link below. We sort out all various patriotic causes. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to this Trump state visit. There's loads to say about this. First of all, Nigel Farage has been called to Congress, or the Senate, I forget, sent to the House in the United States of America. He is giving evidence on Keir Starmer's attack on free speech in the United Kingdom. As you know, JD Vance in particular is extremely concerned about this issue. What they're saying is that the online safety bill and indeed other things like prohibition of prayers outside abortion clinics are a threat to the national security of the United Kingdom and indeed something that will cause problems for citizens of the United States of America as well. So that's all going to be raised, and we know that Nigel Farage is going to be making this important intervention in front of the formal committee looking at this in the Parliament of the United States of America. But then in mid-September, I think it's the 13th, just before the state visit, there is a big meeting of the US Republicans in the United States of America that Nigel Farage is attending. And I think that that is once again a step towards this realignment where the Conservatives will cease to be the sister party of the US Republican Party and instead ReformUK will be the sister party. Because then we get Donald Trump coming into the United Kingdom. And I will tell you, my dinner on the 16th of September is in conjunction with the Republican Party. By the way, we're going to have a ticket ballot for Patriot Club members to attend that dinner. And I said to them, the Republicans, this is, I am willing to get some Conservative politicians to come along. The Republicans have said absolutely not. They would not have Kemi. They would not have even Robert Jenrick, who is apparently one of the more reasonable people within the party. They are absolutely furious with the way the First Amendment has been violated by the Online Safety Act, and they believe now it's time to take action against the Conservatives. Now, I don't know what Donald Trump is going to say when he comes to the United Kingdom, but as you know, every time he goes anywhere, he makes very, very long statements about lots of subjects. We've seen his rallies in the United States of America, including the one where he was shot in the ear. And I will tell you that some of those speeches go on for 2.5 hours. It's remarkable the amount of stuff he throws out. Questions are going to be asked about Kemi Badenoch. Questions are going to be asked about Nigel Farage. Questions are going to be asked about the Online Safety Act. And I believe that Donald Trump is going to quite openly admit that now he is no longer a supporter of the Conservative Party and the US Republicans are no longer supporters of the Conservative Party. That would be a remarkable moment in history. And as I say, just a step closer, what difference does it make that Trump is going to dump Kemi and the Conservatives? Well, it's important and it's not important. So first of all, these sorts of strategic partnerships really yield very few results, particularly with the United States of America, because a lot of the political work in the United States of America is through private contractors and consultants anyway. So the support of the central, if you like, RNC, Republican National Committee, is not that helpful. Similarly, individual Conservatives will still have the right to attend Republican events if they go to the United States of America. They probably don't have the right, but they can attend anyway. Where I think it's important is the symbolism. Because what we're seeing increasingly with Kemi Badenoch is her irrelevance in the debate. Nobody cares what Kemi thinks. When I said that perhaps we should get James Cleverly along to the dinner because he's a former foreign secretary, somebody went, oh, he's now a shadow minister. There's been a reshuffle. Was there? I'm one of the leading Conservative commentators in the country, and I was unaware there was a reshuffle. Do you know, probably for the past 20 years, I could have named the front bench of the Conservatives. Now, I could name maybe 2 or 3 of them. And so the fact that Nigel Farage is now the person leading the debate on the right, I think is significant. And that is something that we're going to have to watch out for. But I think, as I've said in previous videos, this visit by Donald Trump is going to be a tour de force. Because I already said they're going to raise the issue of free speech. They're going to raise the issue of Ukraine. They've already raised the issue of Europe paying for its own security. And to be fair, NATO now has that 5% target, which is way up from not even doing 2% just a couple of years ago. But I think it's going to be a really, really uncomfortable period of time for Kemi Badenoch and for Keir Starmer. Because Donald Trump is not going to turn up and say, oh, what's going on in the United Kingdom is brilliant. He's going to turn up and say what's going on is absolutely dreadful. Because it's always been an important part of Donald Trump's America First agenda to say that a strong Anglosphere is needed. So in the past, American presidents might have wanted the United Kingdom in the European Union in order to moderate the behaviour of the European Union. But none of that when you get to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saying, no, we need a strong United Kingdom. We need a strong Canada. We need a strong Australia. We need a strong New Zealand. And Canada, by the way, is getting a bit better now Trudeau's gone. So where does that leave Kemi Badenoch? Well, she's still not been in power for a whole year. I believe there will be a leadership election in the Conservative Party fairly quickly. Can you imagine on the 25th of September when she gets to that first year where she can now be challenged for the leadership? And, you know, 5 or 10 days before, Donald Trump has been on the media trashing her and saying that she's a load of rubbish. That will be the end. Now, I appreciate that many Conservative MPs are really little more than Liberal Democrats nowadays, but the ordinary membership of the Conservative Party remains fairly conservative, which is, of course, a really odd thing to have said. And I think that they will have a major problem with Kemi Badenoch being trashed by Donald Trump. The MPs won't care. After all, they still believe that the Conservatives should support the European Convention on Human Rights being an integral part of UK law. That is absolute garbage. So I'll keep you updated on what's happening in terms of the Trump state visit. But I'll tell you, realigning with ReformUK away from the Conservatives is going to be a huge, huge moment in this country. And finally, I'd just say this. What on earth are the Conservatives going to do now? You know, they have completely bilged it up. They have taken that huge opportunity in 2019 and destroyed the party. Now, I appreciate there is this great speeding up, so scandals now appear more quickly, take place more quickly, and disappear more quickly. So going from the biggest majority to the lowest result ever, it's kind of not a big surprise, and may well be something that they could turn around, but not on the current trajectory. The reality is the Conservatives are now an irrelevant force in British politics, and they're expected, as if the polls are correct, to get around 25 MPs at the next election. Ironically, one of them will be here in Windsor. That is an absolute disgrace. And I will say also, from Donald Trump's perspective, whatever you think of ReformUK, whatever you think of Nigel Farage, I think it is clear that the global Conservative family of political parties must support which party in Britain is most likely to deliver the sort of government that we want in this country. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, as I say. About half of you who watch this video aren't subscribed. And then also, if you could join the Patriot Fund, that'd be great. Just make a donation on PayPal, and then I get your email address and we send you the monthly updates on what's taking place. Till next time, goodbye.